We smash him into briefs, we fling him around when we have to go to the bathroom, we ask him to perform without hesitation at the drop of a hat. We ask so much out of our manhoods. But are we treating them with the respect and the gratitude that they deserve? Our buddies down there do so much for us. They bring us joy, they bring us pleasure, they bring us connection with other human beings. But have you lately let him know how much you value him? Have you lately taken the time to let him know that you care? So today, I want to just take a moment just to celebrate that which brings us pleasure, our friend, our manhood, our dicks. So hey, I'm Kay, I'm an ecstatic life coach, and I cannot tell you how often I work with men who feel disconnected from their body, from their sexuality, and from, yes, their manhoods. So today, I want to share a couple tips and tricks to generate a sense of goodwill down there, to build a better sense of flow and connection, and so that he does perform when we want him to, that we feel like it's a trusted ally that we can rely on, and that we just generally have a better relationship with our body overall. And if you haven't yet, please do take a moment, hit the subscribe button down below along with the bell next to it so you can be notified about upcoming videos that I post. So, our manhood's one of my very favorite topics to talk about. Our lingam, our schlong, our dick, our phallus, whatever you want to call it. The guy downstairs who brings us joy. For us cisgendered men, they've been with us since the beginning of our lives. They've been there to play with on the playground. Well, maybe not on the playground. In the bathroom. Well, hopefully in private in the bathroom. But they've been there as the source of wonderment and joy from a very, very young age. But as we move into adulthood, suddenly it becomes something that has to be a certain way. He has to be able to stay up for a certain length of time. He has to be able to control his level of intensity so that our partners are not dissatisfied with us. We start to develop a more complicated relationship with our manhoods because suddenly we expect so much from them. I mean, one of my dear, dear lady friends has confided in me that she doesn't count it as actually being sex unless she's had 7 orgasms. I mean, that's a lot to demand. If I were her sexual partner, and I almost was a few times, I would feel very intimidated to think, okay, little guy, all right, here you go. You better be excited, but not too excited, and you better be ready to go for apparently a few hours straight. How many of us have been in situations where he didn't perform in the way we wanted? Or maybe we were too aggressive with him and he ended up hurting him? How many of us have been in situations where we totally neglect him, just shove him into pants, shove him into underwear, unless we want to take him out? How many of us only engage with him when we're by ourselves if we're engaged with pornography or an outside stimulation, and he just becomes this tool to get us off, not something to be celebrated in and of himself? I think one of the ways that I'm a little bit unusual, and I'm curious if there's more of you out there who are like this, but even when I was younger and starting to explore self-pleasuring, most of my self-explorations in a sexual way involved being very in tune with my body, that the experience of sex and sexuality was about physical sensations and the energy flowing through me and being very hyper-aware of my physical response, the energetic response. I pretty much never fantasized about doing it with another person or even just being in the same room with another guy or another woman. For me, I didn't explore fantasy or the idea of visuals all that much. And yes, I would sometimes interact with porn, but more often it would be like, oh, what would it be like to experience my body if I were that jacked? Or what would it be like if I were, such and such sort of person? It became very much an exploration about me rather than about somebody else. Some of my most satisfying and joyful sexual experiences have happened solo, where it's just me alone with my body, sometimes with a mirror, just enjoying being in the experience of being with myself. And gosh, do I love to celebrate my manhood. I love to look at him and touch him and play with him and take pictures of him. Like, I really, really do cherish him. Most days I don't wear underwear because I don't want him to feel confined and squished. I try to keep loose clothing so I can feel him moving about and be present to the experience of being an embodied person with a phallus. But for you, cisgendered men or non-binary folk with penises or trans women with penises, how often are you just consciously aware of your endowment? How often are you just present to the experience of being a person with some dangly bits? And how often do you take time to actually celebrate him? How often do you give him a loving massage? How often do you hold him and thank him for what he does, the pleasure he brings you, the joy he brings you? How often do you just celebrate the fact that you have this beautiful part of your body that brings you so much joy? So go ahead and just do this with me now. You're at home, no one's gonna see you. Take your time. I want you to reach down and grab hold of your little buddy down there. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. And feel yourself breathing into the space where he enters your body. And then breathe into the lingam itself. Feel with the inhale this space is expanding. Feel with the exhale that this space is relaxing. And feel yourself just relaxing overall through here, breathing into it, letting things flow, letting things open. Being here with yourself, with these amazing bodies we have been given. Such a tremendous, tremendous blessing to have a human body. And then I want you to, out loud or silently, thank him. Thank him for all the joy that he brings you, all the pleasure, all the sexiness. Thank him for your years of fun together. And also apologize to him. Apologize to him for being too demanding, for not showing him the kindness and respect he deserves, for not cherishing him and loving him and adoring him in the way that he ought to be treated. Ask if he'll forgive you. Ask if he will be your new best friend. Ask if you can operate as a team rather than sometimes adversaries. Ask if you can start to play together in a joyful, collaborative way. And listen. Hear what he has to say back. Does he reply? Does he want to talk to you? Does he not want to talk to you? Is he open and excited? Are his feelings hurt? Hold him and be present to him. And thank him tremendously. Thank him. I know in my life, my lingam has brought me so much joy, so much pleasure, so much ecstasy. He is one of the most cherished parts of my body and my life. I mean, I'm grateful for all of it, right? I'm grateful for my brain, my heart, my lungs, all of it. Spleen, good job, spleen. But there's something special about this space. And as we come home to this space, as we accept this space, as we begin to work through this space, eventually it can become a place of spiritual energy, a space of not just orgasmic pleasure, but cosmic pleasure. To have these full body orgasms, to have these spontaneous cosmic undulations that tip us into a space of divine ecstasy. But we have to start with actually just being friendly with him. So this is my charge for you this week. Can you develop a sweet, loving, kind relationship with your big guy down there? Can you teach him that you're going to treat him well, that you're going to be friends for a lifetime, and that you'll always have each other's back, or sides, or whatever? If you feel like this work is meaningful to you, please do me a favor, just drop a comment down below and let me know your experience of this work today. If you want to explore more work together, I'm always available for one-on-one coaching work. I also now have a Patreon, so we can connect there, where we get weekly intentions and guided meditations and lots of fun stuff. And you can also always check out my book, Journey to the Ecstatic Self, or get a free copy of it digitally through Patreon. I'm Kay, this is Ecstatic Self. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. Namaste.